How the heck are you guys? I'm Fastidious. Welcome to my channel and thank you for your patience. The new update came yesterday morning, and since then, with that update, we had the number of rules you're able to use in your gear recommendation settings expanded from 20 to 25. That is a beautiful thing. 5 extra rules really let us tailor these beautifully, and moreover, they are now allowing us to select our main stat for left side gear. This basically gives us total control and can prevent bad gear from slipping through settings. So I have my new gear plan codes. I am very proud of these. I want to give a huge shout out to Pink Jesus, who once again, for the third time now, this is the second update, and the third time we've made gear cleansing, gear recommendation setting codes. He was my right-hand man, if not more than that, doing it right alongside me. We double and triple checked everything, ping-ponging back and forth. So huge shout out to him. Every time, I think our rules are getting better and better. I thought we had the best rules in the realm the first time, but it was the first time we did it. We were learning their system. There were issues in how they implemented it, so we could only do so much. The next time they added new sets, we also learned a bit more about kind of potential holes we had in the original rules. They only got better. This time, if you find any mistakes, do let me know in the comments. We always want to keep these updated and perfect. I think this is as close to perfect as we could get. As always, we have 2 different codes, one for the mid-game and one which we call late end-game. Now, let me explain what this means and what I think the cutoffs are, because people ask me this constantly. Everyone should be using the mid-game code until they've beaten Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3, Stage 21 on all, and have taken the time to do a decent bit of farming on all those 21s. So you've beaten Stage 21 on all 3 of the main Gear Raids, and let's say you farmed each one since then at least 1,000 times. Why do I say that? It means you got to max efficiency farming, and you did enough farming there that you have somewhat populated your roster with decent equipment, maybe a little better than decent. At that point, you can kind of say, you know what? I think I'm ready for the late endgame codes. Don't take this personally. It's like I'm insulting you by saying you're mid-game, or I'm complimenting you by saying it's late endgame. The point of the 2 codes is the mid-game code, which everyone should be using anytime after the immediate early game. So let's say once you start beating your Gear Raid 18, Stage 18s and above, you can start using those all the way up until the point I just described, because those are less strict. Like, they're not going to be as brutal in what we allow to get a thumbs up, because that's what these codes do. They decide which gear get recommendations, and then when you go for quick sell over here, and you go to do a big sell, you do quick select, you can click unrecommended gear, it decides which gets selected. And you'll actually see it's a pretty big number. Normally when I click this, it's like 1 to 150. Our new codes are really, really tailored, especially in the late and end game, to be very strict and be very particular. The extra rules did allow that. A lot of left side gear you may not have yet filtered through yet yourself can now be quick sold easily with the new settings, because before, since we couldn't specify the primary stat, we couldn't differentiate between weapons and chests. We can now. So there's probably a lot of stuff from left side gear that had slipped through the cracks in the old settings before, that with the new settings and the specification between main stat and differentiation between weapon and breastplate, now those will be caught and easily quick sold. It's way smoother, way less trash to deal with, easy selling. And I think we made really, really good use of it. So without further ado, I think a lot of people are probably just wanting the codes. If you want more than that, stick around. I'll take you through each rule pretty quickly. This video is not going to be as long as the ones in the past, because I think you guys kind of know the drill by now. So stick around if you want to learn all that nitty gritty that Pink Jesus and I worked on. However, if you just want the codes, I'll put them up right now. This is going to be the mid-game code. This is the code for absolutely everyone starting after you've beaten your stage 18s and you're farming stage 18 to 21 in Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3, and you will continue on with this code until you've completed Stage 21 in all 3 of the main Gear Raids, Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3, and then taken a week or 2, done like 1,000 runs of each in each one of those Gear Raids. Then what you can do is move on to this code. This is our late game code, our late end game code. This is a much stricter code. That's the first one I'm going to show you here today, and it's really, heavily tailored to making sure only the most perfect, desirable, necessary gear for your account makes it through, and thus lets you easily sell everything else, sell all the other crap. And quickly, let me put both the codes above my head. Listen to this. The equal sign after each of these codes is part of the code. If you get an error, I promise, don't yell at me. It's because you forgot the equal sign. Write those letters and include the equal sign after. You must do that. So there you go. Those are the two codes. If you ever need this video for reference, they will be in the description of this video in the top pinned comment. Also, at any time, if you go to my Discord over here, the Fast and Fastidious, the biggest Discord, the best Discord in the realm, you go to the hub and then you go to War General. If you go to pins, you will always see my most recently updated gear codes, the filter recommendation settings. So these ones are from November 2024. As soon as this video goes live and you go here and you check the pins, the top pin is going to be the codes from January 2025. So you can really stay on top of it that way. Without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Thank you so much for watching. Let's break down these shiny new gear recommendation settings. All right, so kicking it off with the late endgame code. This is the one I use on my account. If you want the code again, I'll put it right there, again, in the description, top and comment, and pinned on my Discord. What has changed? Most of the changes did come to the left side. However, the changes on the left side and the expansion of the number of rules from 20 to 25 allowed us to get a little better and more specific on the right. So things are in a really, really good spot right now. First things first, we consolidated everything for DPS, HP, and defense DPS into one rule, and it's just one very strict rule. This is gear you don't really need in the game yet. We don't have so many good HP-based damage dealers and defense-based damage dealers. So the way this rule works is there's 5 substats. Regardless, you see attack main stat and HP main stat. We have the choice now. We can decide if we want it to be just a weapon, aka attack main stat, or just a breastplate, just a chest, HP main stat. For this one, we're saying either or. We don't care. All the time, we want 4 of these 5 substats. I'll say for the chest, unless it's a variant, an ancient, or an exclusive, all things which automatically get a thumbs up. More on that in a second. It cannot get attack speed. So it's saying on our HP, defense, DPS, chest pieces, our breastplates, we want all 4 of these substats, and thus it guarantees a piece will only be recommended if it has defense bonus, HP bonus, crit rate, and crit damage. And then for the weapon, crit damage is only possible on the ancient gear, the variant gear, and the exclusive, which all get thumbs up inherently. It's coded into the game, so it's saying you want the other 4, defense bonus, HP bonus, crit rate, and attack speed. We've always been strict on this. We just got slightly stricter, and we consolidated it into one rule. Everything else we don't really need to always consolidate into one rule because we can now choose the primary attribute. Before we do, I do want to talk about that auto thumbs up thing. We've always known they don't let you quick sell or auto sell ancient pieces and variant pieces. I have now confirmed this is also the case for exclusive gear. Let me show you. All right, I was just on the test server before this and I did some forging. Quick anecdote, the best forging I've ever seen. It really does seem on exclusive gear. It's not guaranteed, but they have way more relevant substats. I really wish I waited to forge until after this update, so you don't have to be worried about forging. I'm not guaranteeing you good luck, but the luck I just had, it was like 5 times better than when I did it before the update on my own account. However, I was hunting on the test server to see if I could get thumbs ups on gear that should not get a thumbs up. So I imported my late game, end game settings you're learning about right now onto the test server. They are very strict, and you'll see all the exclusive gear still got thumbs ups, like this Zealous's banner right here, even with inappropriate substats. So attack bonus, flat attack, crit damage is certainly not good enough to guarantee a thumbs up with my settings, but it gave it anyway. If we look at Setram's weapon over here, crit rate, attack speed, heal effect, HP bonus on a Wicked Vengeance set, not allowed to get a thumbs up with my rules. It got one anyway. Let's go a little quicker now. This Nocturne breastplate, attack bonus, crit damage, and then 2 random things on Wicked Vengeance that does not get a thumbs up on my settings. Here, it does look good, but Hell's Lament, crit damage, attack bonus, crit rate, and then 2 randos. That is not enough for the late endgame settings, but it still got it because it's exclusive. Finally, another Zealous one, this one with flat attack speed, crit rate, attack bonus. This wouldn't make it through, right? It's a rule on these that I have that it needs crit rate and crit damage, so it still did get a thumbs up when it should not have. So I just wanted to prove that to you. So if you're worried, but what about including rage regen on that weapon or including attack speed on that breastplate? Think about exclusive gear. Don't worry, you don't need my settings for that. It automatically will not let you quick sell. It by default gets a thumbs up. So there you go. Let's move along. We covered this. You can see they did break up the primary attributes, something I asked for from the very first second we started doing this. And it's fantastic. So our weapons, it's ideal. Our attack healer weapon, attack bonus, heal effect, attack speed. This is always going to work. It's always going to go through. There's no condition, but wait, you can't get attack speed on the breastplate. Who cares about breastplate? This is just for weapon, and I've controlled it with that flat attack primary attribute. Same thing with the chest here. Heal effect, HP bonus, attack bonus. Phenomenal. It works great. right down the list. Inspiration chest. We didn't do an inspiration weapon because all you really need is attack bonus. Many other pieces with many other rules will have that covered. Ideally, you want attack bonus and HP bonus, but unfortunately, we only had 25 rules. I really hope they'd keep expanding this. I would love to have 30 or 40 rules, but 25, we did pretty good. That's one that I did leave off, but you'll still get it plenty, especially through the mid-game settings, which you should be starting with, and then you graduate to these. If we move along, we got an HP healer weapon, very self-explanatory, HP bonus, heal effect, attack speed, just sorting for the attack main stat for the primary, so just weapons. Same thing with the chest, flat HP primary, so just chest. Very simple, it needs both of these, HP bonus and heal effect. Now you got a tank weapon, you need these big three. I wish they added something. So this was a moment I was waiting for. I wish they added a feature. They could do it in two ways. And I would love for people to recommend this to them in the Discord suggestions. This would start perfecting this system. If they add the thing I'm about to describe now and they expand this to 30 or 35 rules, it's perfect. Honestly, I love it. What do they need to do? Well, if you go in here and edit, you can see I can pick the secondary attributes and it's saying I want all three of these. What I would love for them to do is allow you to put a star next to certain secondary attributes, meaning they are required. Then you could do something like this. So just to remind you, we're on our tank weapon here. So a tanky defender piece. What I'd love to be able to do is put a star next to defense bonus and HP bonus, meaning these are required substats. They need to have these two. Then I could say the required number total is 3, and then I could do flat HP, flat defense, attack speed, right? So what am I saying? I'm saying I want 3, 2 of them have to be defense bonus and HP bonus, but remember I'm requiring 3 total, so the third one can be any one of these 3. 2 of them have to be defense bonus and HP bonus because I'm doing a star next to them. That's the system I have in my head at least. And then the final third could be one of these 3, attack speed, flat defense, and HP. This would really unlock things and make it so much better. The other way this could work is just by adding a whole separate field. So what would that look like? Basically, you'd have primary attributes, then you'd have required secondary attributes or required substats, and then you'd say other substats. So what you could do is my primary attribute, it's a weapon, is flat attack main stat. My required secondary attributes are defense bonus and HP bonus, and then my other, and it's both, requires 2. And then for my last 2 substats, I could do flat HP, flat defense, attack speed, and I says it just requires one of these. Right? Any of those. So those are my other substats. So you just do the 2 guaranteed requirements of those specific things, and then of those next 3, just 1. You could write it, for example, as an other secondary attributes field. That would level this up in such a huge way. I would love if we could all make noise about it, because then I don't think it'd be hard to code, and then the system is like perfect. You could really filter for exactly what you want. But that being said, those are the 3 main subsets. So we're saying we want all 3 of them. Pretty simple. For the chest, the standard thing it always is. We want flat defense, we want defense bonus, we want HP bonus. We're sorting specifically for chest. Attack DPS weapon, before you say, well, why don't you want crit damage? Why don't you want rage regen? That's only possible on exclusive, variant, and ancient. Those automatically get thumbs ups. We covered that. So we're saying we want the big 3, attack bonus, crit rate, attack speed. You might be thinking, what about Virna or Zarus? They don't want attack speed. They just need these 2. They'll be covered by the other things that come through, like from the exclusive gear, from the ancient gear, from the variant gear, and all the other nice things you've already locked from earlier in the game when you were early game, mid game, beginning of late game. That kind of stuff. For the attack DPS chest, we want the big 3. It's that simple. I know some of you are saying you might be happy with attack bonus, crit damage, flat attack. You'll have picked that stuff up otherwise. We'll get plenty of ancients and variants with that. This is what we're looking for from our normal gear. When I was editing, I realized actually we can consolidate the attack, DPS, weapon, and chest into one rule. Let me explain. If the main stat is attack and it's a weapon, it cannot have crit damage. So that means if you require 3 substats, it will be attack bonus, crit rate, attack speed. Likewise, if the main stat is HP, meaning it's a breastplate or a chest, it cannot have attack speed, meaning by requiring 3, we're guaranteed attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage. This saved us a rule, and so, boom shakalaka, I was able to fit in an inspiration weapon rule. Basically, your inspiration hero needs attack to the moon, but quite frankly, they also need some HP, so this is requiring these 2 substats. So that is our left side gear. For our right side, I did drastically expand the DPS attack gear so nothing can ever be missed. So I'm pretty proud of this. This is the biggest addition, so I hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comments if you do. You can see what was once 1 attack DPS rule is now 3, 1, 2, 3. We have our crit main stat rules that used to be 2, 1, 2. I now added a third, so nothing can slip through. And then finally, on top of everything, I even added a catch-all. We'll talk about that in a second, but basically, this is a very lenient rule hunting for crit rate main stat on Cataclysm and Hell's Lament. If you don't want this rule, please delete it. This is something I think you should include until we have more Cataclysm and more Hell's Lament, and we don't have to lean on crit rate to complete sets. We'll cover that in a second. Let's start on the top with our attack DPS. So the first one is the standard one you've seen in the past. It's the big 3 main stats, and whichever one we get as a main stat, we want the other 2 plus crit rate as the substat. So if you have an attack bonus main stat, you want crit rate, crit damage, attack speed. If you have a crit damage main stat, you want attack bonus, crit rate, attack speed. If you have attack speed, you want attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage. Let's pick up the pace a little bit. This one we got more specific here. And by the way, we're only doing our top meta sets, and we've got our top 3 tier 1 sets that can then be ascended into our top 3 tier 2 sets. So following that same pattern here, DPS attack 2. This is for heroes that maybe don't need attack speed. We're saying the primary attribute is attack bonus or crit damage, and then you're getting the other 3. So if you have attack bonus and main stat, you're getting rage regen, crit rate, crit damage. This is great for heroes that don't need attack speed, like Zarus, Zealous, Virna, tons of heroes, or heroes that just don't need to go that fast. And then crit damage main stat, you're getting everything but crit damage. We really like it. And then this one, number 3, maybe you don't care as much about ulting, you don't care about speed, so rage regen, attack speed, not the focus. This is just attack to the moon. You're looking for attack bonus or crit damage main stat. Then you get the other one as a substat, plus crit rate and flat attack. So pretty good. Now nothing can ever slip through the cracks. Let's do the other crit rate mains, and then we can circle back to this cat crit rule. This is very lenient, and it's just to help you complete those Hell's Lament sets and their Cataclysm sets. I call it cat crit because that's easier to type, and it fits, as opposed to Cataclysm, Hell's Lament, crit. So crit rate main 1, this is basically saying anytime we get a crit rate main stat, we're never going to ascend a piece. So it always needs to be one of our tier 3 or tier 2 DPS sets, and we want perfectly designed, desirable substats. So it's crit rate main stat with flat attack, attack bonus, crit damage, attack speed. That's the first option. Then you can do crit rate main stat with attack bonus, rage gen, crit damage, and attack speed. And then finally, we get crit rate main stat with flat attack, attack bonus, rage gen, and crit damage. Basically, it's cycling which combination you want of attack speed, flat attack, rage gen, attack speed, and then rage gen, flat attack. You want 2 of those 3, plus you always want attack bonus and crit damage, obviously. So let's go to that catch-all. This is super lenient. It's basically saying any single Cataclysm piece or Hell's Lament piece that is a crit rate main stat that has an attack bonus and a crit damage substat will be kept. Why am I getting this lenient? Well, more and more exclusive gear is coming out, and you might want to start building sets with exclusive gear, so you don't want to miss out on those crazy exclusive effects potentially because you can't run that hero because there's not enough crit. If you have a decent crit rate bangle, then all of a sudden you can use that Arrogance amulet that didn't have crit rate and that really nice Nightmare Council exclusive ring that didn't have crit rate. All of a sudden you've got a pretty cool thing. Maybe you experiment and it's better on your account. You're never really going to find out unless you start getting super lucky in the Forge or you use a rule like this. But like I said, if you don't want this rule, if it's too lenient for you, just chuck it. You know, the broader crit rate rules still include this, but maybe if you're like me and you want to be a little more lax when it comes to the brand new tier 3 set. So I guess Cataclysm's brand new, and then Hell's Lament just has sucked. So people might not have kept it in the past. Let's continue on. It's going to be really simple now. Inspiration, I did make a change here. Inspiration gear, you need attack bonus main stat, flat attack substat. That is the same. However, I did add 2 new sets. We've got Morale and we've got Mana Spring. This is mostly for like cost gen units in Arena. There's some potential comps you might use in the guild bosses. I figure just make it broader if you don't like sell it. Otherwise, you can just narrow this down to just Wings of Grace and Invigoration. Me personally, I'm running all 4 sets. Now we've got Glacier. Some people don't like this rule, so just delete it if you don't like it. I do like it. Glacier is still somewhat relevant, especially on Constants, who I use a ton. You can make it work on heroes like Abomination. You really want it to be perfect. You get tons of Glacier Ancients if you're this late in the game, so maybe you don't need to save anything, but just in case it's worth saving. This is a lot of substats. You can see there's 6, and you're requiring 4 of these 6, so you know the piece will have the substats. It will be 4 of these. The worst case scenario, you get like HP bonus, flat HP, defense bonus, rage regen, or something like that, and you missed out on all the attack and stuff like that. It's still not even that bad. Me, I can stomach it. I'll go sell it if I need to. If you don't want the rule, ditch it. Now you got the HP healer. This rule is unchanged. It's perfect. HP bonus, rage regen, or attack speed is the main stat, and then the other 3 plus heal effect will be the substat. Same thing with attack healer, same sets. Now it's attack bonus, rage regen, attack speed is the main stat, and the other 2 plus heal effect will be the other 3 substats. Finally, spammer utility, this is unchanged, the sets are unchanged. You want your main stat to be HP bonus, rage regen, or attack speed, and you want your 2 substats to be the other 2 stats that were not the main stat. Now we've got our tank, this is unchanged. Again, it's kind of perfect. If it's a defense bonus main stat, you're guaranteeing HP bonus, flat HP, and flat defense. If it's an HP bonus main stat, you're guaranteeing defense bonus, flat HP, and defense. These are nice sets. Maybe you want to throw Mana Spring in there or something. I think this is good enough. Maybe you want to throw in Asclepius. I think that is very much a mid-game thing to do, but maybe you have a use case I haven't thought of. HP DPS, very clean, just like attack DPS rule 1, except replacing attack bonus with HP bonus. Defense DPS identical, except now replacing attack bonus or HP bonus with defense bonus. I hope that was very thorough and very clear. One more time, this is the code. Now let's head over to our mid-game settings and go real quick. All right, folks, we're doing mid-game now. You'll see the code right here. We're going to get right into it. This is going to be very fast because they're the exact same kind of rules. They're just broader to be less strict, so more things can slip through and you can get more, generally good pieces, not insanely good pieces exclusively, because you can't really afford that in the mid game. So we do start off with an identical rule from the previous gear settings, the late and end game one. When it comes to HP and defense DPS, this is a very rare thing, so you're only going to need a couple sets, so you can be as strict in the mid game as you are later on. You can see there, it's identical. Here you got HP healer weapon. You can see primary stat is flat attack. We're ditching the heal effect here. We're saying if it has HP bonus and attack speed, we're cooking. Now you've got HP healer chest. This is identical. You just need HP bonus and heal effect. Now we've got the attack healer weapon. We've ditched the heal effect here. We're saying attack bonus and attack speed. That's good enough. Now we've got attack healer chest. We've ditched the HP bonus. We're saying just attack bonus and heal effect is good enough. We don't need that extra tankiness. That's more of an endgame thing with harder content, worrying about your healers dying. Inspiration weapon, so we're saying we want attack bonus and then some tankiness, so like your Dolores doesn't die, so HP bonus as well. Inspiration chest, same thing as before, we need attack bonus and flat attack. The attack DPS chest, it's the same as before, except we're only requiring 2 instead of 3, a little bit less strict. Same thing with the attack DPS weapon, only requiring 2 instead of 3 from attack bonus, crit rate, attack speed. Sure, this means you could get crit rate and attack speed, but that's something you might be willing to have in the mid game. Otherwise, you just have to let it slip through. It is what it is. And now your left side tank set, we don't need to break it up between weapon and chest piece. Basically, if it has HP bonus and defense bonus, that is good enough at this stage. You guys saw the sets as well. So now we have our 3-piece sets, and we've got tons of DPS rules because I love DPS. So DPS attack, you can see we break it down based off of which sets do we want, and the more we want to set, the more lenient we are with what substats we need. So you'll see these are the big 8 sets, the 2 tier 3s, the 3 tier 2s, and the 3 tier 1s that become these 3 tier 2s. When it comes to these, it's the same thing as before, but again, only 2 substats is fine. Now we've got the exact same rule, except we're being as strict as before, but we're saying any set in the game's okay. We'll go broken set if we get the right substats and it rolls well. DPS 3, same idea here as DPS 2 and DPS 3 from the advanced rules, the late game rules. So basically it's the same as, if you can remember, DPS attack rule 2 from the last one. It's basically saying we want these perfect substats. If you have attack bonus, you want rage regen, crit rate, crit damage. If you have crit damage, then you want attack bonus, rage regen, crit rate. So you're being picky, but you're saying any set goes. Same thing for DPS attack rule 4. This is the same as DPS attack rule 3 and the other one. It's just saying any set goes now, but we want to be just as strict. So it's attack bonus or crit damage as the main stat. Then you're getting the one you didn't get as the main stat as a substat, plus flat attack and crit rate. Pretty good. Now we've got our tank rule. It's as strict as the one before, but we're saying any set flies. Earlier on in the game, you don't really need to be hunting tank sets. You just need to have good tanky gear with the right substats and nice rolls. Tank 2, what has changed here? It's saying these are the good tank sets, but if I'm getting the good tank sets, as long as it has HP bonus main stat with a defense bonus substat, or defense bonus main stat with an HP bonus substat, we're cooking. Inspiration, exact same rule here, nothing has changed. If we go to the crit rate main stat 1, this is our strict original rule, but with only 3 subsets instead of 4, and we're saying any set goes. We're being pretty flexible. For crit rate main stat 2, these are the good sets, and we're saying if it has crit rate and it's up from a good set and it has attack bonus and crit damage as a sub, that's good enough for us. Kind of the same actually as my cat crit rule, the Cataclysm Hell's Lament rule, but now we're expanding it to the big 8 sets. We've got our Glacier rule, just like our Glacier rule before, but even more flexible. It's saying if it has an attack bonus main stat, just give me flat HP and HP bonus, I'm good. If it has an HP bonus main stat, give me flat HP and attack bonus, I'm good. Now we've got our utility rule. It's the same as before on the other one, except we'll take any set. We don't mind broken sets. Now attack healer, exact same thing as our attack healer rule, except any set goes. Now we've got our Grace Morale set. This is a broad ass rule, and if you can't tell what it is, I'll explain it pretty clearly now. It includes every primary stat and every secondary stat. Stats don't matter. We're saying for now in the mid game, we're going to save any Wings of Grace gear that we forge and any morale gear. Those sets are that important early on, just having full sets of everything. HP DPS, same as the HP DPS rules before, but any set goes. Defense DPS, same as everything before, except every set goes. So there you go, guys. I hope this video is not too long once I edit it, but I think it just might be. Here you go. Once again, the mid-game rules code. If you want to see both codes, I'm going to put them both here. Go to the description of the video, the top pinned comment. They will always be there. Remember, again, that equal sign always is included in the code. If you get an error message, it's because you did the letters and numbers and you didn't use the equal sign. You always need to use the equal sign. Thank you for watching. Big final thank you to Pink Jesus. I appreciate all of you. Subscribe, share with your mother. I've been Fastidious. I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.